Good evening, good morning, and good night. Welcome to Inappropriate Radio. It's your host, Sasha. Let's get into this. So, hi guys. I hope all is well. No periodic table or alien talk tonight. However, the creator dropped something down on me. Usually when this happens, I know that it is something that when the listeners has stated or posed over these past few weeks, I have literally gotten so many different downloads. And as I stated, I believe yesterday or the day before, I was really just trying to figure out how to prioritize the messages and really just have the creator guide me on, what to go over, what to research, things of that nature. And all day today, I was like, okay, what are you having me do today? And then a few conversations came up. I was reminded of a few things from yesterday. And then I watched a few videos, and then I got my confirmation for my download. So someone who listens to me is posing a question, and it's in regards to physical proof of the spiritual realm, right? There are a lot of people who are conflicted. They don't know if they want to be Muslim, Christian, a Baptist, a Jew. I'm sorry, a Baptist is a Christian, a Mormon, a Satanist, right? There are people who are, like we discussed yesterday, they're literally being pulled in multiple directions, and this is all based on their frequency and their confusion and their inability to decide on which direction to go on their soul's journey, right? Now, first of all, let's just point out the fact that throughout civilization, there has been several people from several different pockets of the world who has had no contact with one another whatsoever, who has reported similar things, right? So whether it's extraterrestrial presence, different ideations and connections between the earth, people, and the universe, particularly the sky and like the atmosphere, the growth of populations as it relates to religion and culture, as well as food. I mean, of course, food is a part of culture, but, as it pertains to people who have a more high vibrational diet, being more in tune, particularly these being people of the sun, melanated people, having a more of a sense of spirituality, right? There's this connection and this consistency throughout time across cultures, right? Let's just point that out first. Okay, so let's just look at a few things. So I gave an analogy yesterday about the universe being a broomstick, and then all of these different dimensions falling along that broomstick, with Earth being in the middle, hell being at the bottom, or lower dimensions in the heavens, or higher dimensions being at the top, right? This is just to give you an idea of a sort of layout. Now, we can't necessarily see that, right? So let's just put a few things into perspective to give you a better idea of how these spiritual things work out. So first of all, you know how you have those really big families, right? That like everybody knows that family don't play. Don't mess with that family, right? You get into a fight with one, now here you are fighting 20, right? Same thing in the spiritual realm. Someone messes with a descendant of someone, their ancestors will literally come and see about you, okay? Now, this can unfold in many ways, depending on, of course, the ranking, the purpose of the bloodline, the type of karma that has been racked up for all bloodlines that are involved, etc., right? There's a few standards that need to be met on this criteria. And that's just one example, right? So imagine that analogy I gave about the broomstick, right? Okay, so picture the different levels and dimensions that we have, okay? How do we explain underground cities? How do we explain the tunnels and the cave systems that are not only here in the States but are all over? These are indications of society moving or transcending. And I'll give you an example, or just for lack of better terms, just a little different perspective, okay? As we begin to elevate, because remember, the earth is an abyss. We've talked about this. So these dark energies, these low vibrational entities, they were actually here first, right? This was a place of darkness. It was cold, a bunch of water, really no vegetation. Majority of the species that did dwell here were species that consumed other species, right, that were here. So they were eating each other. They didn't have respect for life. And there was no sense of security, right? The creator was just letting everything run. As we begin to evolve as an earth, as not even like as a human species, right? Because I'm speaking before our ancestors were here. I'm speaking of entities, principalities, frequencies, energies that have dwelled here long before human and long before like vegetation, right? As we begin to evolve, we started to see these different forms of life, right? So flowers, trees, grass, different types of species, including humans, right? As more light began to come to this really dark dimension, more life came, right? Different types of species began to come here and dwell here. So this is a physical depiction of what's going on in the heavens, okay? We're moving into a space where different entities and creations can dwell in the same timeline, in the same time period. And this is just an idea of how things were coming together back then. I think right now, with aliens coming and humans descending back into those underground cave systems and us being forced to revert back to living off the land, and just kind of this mesh of like old times and new times, right? It's a physical depiction of what's going on in the heavens, like a reset, a balance, a sort of balance, if you will. If you look at science, okay, if you look at history, if you look at philosophy, if you look at any of these areas of study, they give you some sort of idea of what's been going on in the spiritual and astral realms. Of course, we are not NASA, right? All of us don't have high-tech telescopes. All of us don't have the ability to astral project. So it's not really easy for us to kind of formulate and conceive exactly what the earth may really be, what we may really be, what we're a real reflection of, if that makes sense, right? So first and foremost, if you are battling with your faith, if you are having a hard time believing that the creator is real, if you yourself think that you are God, if you think that the devil is God, like, I would assume that this would be for you, right? Or just confirmation for someone who has been questioning my spiritual abilities and my connection to the creator. This topic would be a confirmation that I am indeed tapped in, right? And this is not, I'm not tooting or boasting. I'm just saying this is how these messages come about. Everything is all connected, remember. So, first and foremost, the reason why you were created is solely connected to your ability to even imagine these things, right? So if God made you an angel of destruction, he's going to give you the ability to fathom heaven and hell, right? Because you would be connected to both of these realms or these dimensions, right? If God made you to be a scientist, right? He will give you the ability to fathom numbers and how the universe coexists with other realities, right? Or physicists. All of the things that makes you who you are and what you are and how you're wired is directly connected to your purpose. Let's put the whole bloodline thing aside. Your purpose, your timeline, your reality, why the Creator has you here in this moment, right here, right now, wherever that may be. Whether that's physical, spiritual, emotional, financially, wherever you are in your life currently is directly correlated to your purpose and wherever you're going and wherever you're coming from, right? Secondly, your faith, your ability to believe in these things is again directly correlated to your ability to fathom the idea that these things even exist. So outside of why you're created, outside of the bloodline that you're connected to, outside of the different versions of you in different times and realms and dimensions and realities and all of these different continuums, do you even believe, right? Because your ability to believe is going to take your vibration from earthbound to at least somewhere in between mid-heaven and heaven, right? Somewhere in the astrals. Whether it's real or not, your ability to believe that it is real is going to shift your reality, is going to shift the way you perceive life, is going to shift everything that you understand, right? About all of what may be going on. So outside of what it is that you may be experiencing in your physical life, your ability to connect with the astral realm is connected to the work that you're putting in this timeline. Not to mention your memory, whatever personal experiences you may have that will allow you or lead you to conclude that the unseen is seen by some, that the unseen actually exists. So all of this is contingent upon your karma, your bloodline, your purpose, what's going on in the ethers at this current moment. Like all of those things is all intertwined. And before we wrap this up, again, science, history, and your very existence are three of the main things that I believe would be your physical proof, because you still can't tell me how we got here, right? Outside of these books, and I mean these books, when I say these books, I mean religious texts. Outside of these religious sacred texts imposing ideas on us, we don't really know how we got here. I mean, the only thing we can go off of is history and science. So if you need a better understanding of physical proof that the spiritual realm, that God exists, I would say science and history. Study and explore as many different cultures, ancient cultures, as you possibly can. All right. But I'm going to end it here. I do love y'all. I hope y'all are enjoying your weekend. I hope y'all are drinking your water, eating your fruit and vegetables, and sipping on your own tea, because it is most definitely free. I'm out of here.